Hey everybody, and welcome to the Army Showcase. The Army Showcase is where we look at different miniatures from different games. In this video, we are going to have a look at miniatures from Corvus Belli's Infinity. This army is from the Combined Army faction, the Morats. The miniatures featured today are from the second resculpt of the Morat force. For reference, this is what the first sculpts of the miniatures look like. The miniatures featured in this showcase are now either resculpted, discontinued, and are unavailable. The Morats are the most brutal, battle-hungry species in the entire Infinity universe. Think space gorillas with guns, discipline, and a permanent bad attitude. As part of the Combined Army, they are the only race trusted to operate independently because no one tells a Morat what to do, not even their alien overlords. Their motto: fight hard, die harder. Now, on the tabletop, they are relentless, heavy infantry, linked teams, and terrifying firepower, wrapped in angry red armor. If diplomacy fails, and it always does, the Morats are already kicking down the door. Subtle? Never. Effective? Always. Welcome to the Aggression Force. Now, this force was put together by Laisu for a tournament. So in this video, we are going to have a look at the miniatures and this build. According to Laisu, this army list did not do well, but he did say this was due to user error. When this box came out, it was the debut of the Morat Aggression Force as a separate list from the Combined Army list that included other races. Personally, I think it's a good update. The main part of this force is based around the Morat Aggression Sectorial starter set. From this set, we have 3 Grunt Morat Vanguards with a combi rifle, the Suryat. We have the Morat Vanguard pieces like the Hacker and the Missile Launcher. This force has a T-Drone as support, and instead of using the Osnat, we have a miniature from the Dire Foes Mission Pack Train Rescue. We have the Tretak Anyat. So let's have a look at them. This figure is slender and exudes sassiness. I can understand this figure being chosen over the Osnat figure that you get in the Morat box. This figure is from the very first Dire Foes Mission Pack. Adding this to the force simply because it's a better looking figure, well, makes aesthetic sense. We then take a look at the Morat Vanguard. First, the 3 line infantry in the sectorial box. We then have the 2 Vanguard with special roles. One is a hacker, and one is armed with a missile launcher. For support, we have the T-drone. And then for heavy firepower, we have the Suryat. The painting on these figures are very nicely done. You can see the mixed use of brush and airbrush to the effects that Laisu wanted. Now, I don't really like the base craft on these figures. While it does look like something you'd see on the Corvus Belli website, I think a tremendous opportunity was missed by not putting more onto the base. The figures are already so well done, the bases just let the miniatures down. The color palette is small, which for me is good, as it gives the whole force a themed look. From a distance, a lot of detail does not pop. Pick up the figure and you'll be rewarded with some very nice work. So let's have a quick look. First, the Anyat. The first thing you'll see is the pink hair. When you're painting bright colors, you'll find that getting a nice bright pink is not as easy as it sounds. A quick tip is always to use clean water when attempting bright colors on your miniature and a clean brush. Compared to the Corvus Belli scheme, I think this figure is less showy, but it's a very nice sculpt, making the sass and the sexiness of the figure undeniable. Each of the Vanguard are painted in this same way. All three of the Vanguards with combi rifle have just the right amount of variety so a player can tell them apart, but not enough for each to stand out on their own. Getting the faces of the Morat Vanguard is just as important as the overall paint job, because you want to show the great sculpts Corvus Belli released. Each of these grunts are given just the right amount of attention as the rest of the army, which, while takes time, will ensure the overall army looks even better. Then there is the Vanguard Hacker. The silhouette of this figure was very important so as not to confuse this troop with the regular grunts. And I think this is where the art of the sculpt comes to play. The difference is subtle, but the figure does show its uniqueness when compared to the combi rifle infantry. Next, the Vanguard with missile launcher. This figure did not need such a unique silhouette. The missile launcher in hand is a dead giveaway. However, all the color schemes done are the same for all the Vanguard. I like that because it gives the whole army a very nice cohesive look. The heavy infantry Suryat with the heavy weapon is slightly bigger than the rest of the force, giving the figure some weight and presence. It is more obvious on this figure and the drone one, where the airbrush was used, and I must say it's used to good effect. The sculpt also implies the weight of the weapon, which I think was done very nicely. The T-drone is an intelligent missile launcher remote. There is a lot going on in terms of detail on this miniature, and unless you pick up the figure, all will be lost from a distance. The force does look like one that was built for competition, with many solutions for all the problems that the player may have at the event. Each component complementing each other. Now, the addition of the T-drone is interesting. As long as there are forward observers and spotlights, it works. However, it makes the T-drone, well, more orders intensive, but I'm sure Laisu has a very good reason to have this in his force. These models were painted during the time when the Angel Heraldez method was coming into fashion, a blend of airbrush shading, pin lining, and NMM work. Laisu bought the Heraldez Masterclass Volume 1 book, and these models were his first attempt using that method. He says it was a very fun and rewarding experience, teaching him a lot of airbrushing handling and mixed techniques. The paints used were largely Vallejo model color and Vallejo game color. So that's pretty much the force up close. It was really a joy to shoot this force, and I hope you enjoyed the showcase. As usual, like and subscribe to show support, and don't forget to enjoy painting those figures.